Hello, everybody, on this beautiful March day. I'm excited about the topic that we're going to be diving into today. I want to talk about AI, and I want to talk about some messages that I've been receiving through my intuition over the last number of months and its role in our coaching practices and our businesses, what it's going to mean for our future. So I've got some kind of trends that are dropping in around this, how we can use it in the most helpful way without it dimming our genius and watering down our messages, and where I think it's going to drive many businesses either into the ground or into the stratosphere, and which way it's going to go for you and how to set yourself up in a really powerful way. So the first thing that wants to come through is that information businesses, and you guys are likely already seeing this, information has always been cheap, even before AI. It's always been cheap, and it hasn't been the most effective in shifting consciousness, facilitating transformation, or really unlocking potential. It can give us little bits, but we're always reading and consuming information from the level of we're perceiving and interpreting all of the information through the same level of consciousness. And most of the information that we are consuming is coming from an intention of not enoughness. And therefore, the information can't really support us too much in our growth because our intention sets the trajectory of the experience we're going to have on the other side of it. And when we are consumers, when we are consuming information by the boatloads because of our love for learning through a lens of I don't know enough yet, it sends us into a perpetual consumption cycle that has us seeking more and more information, feeling like something is always missing. Because when we have not enough playing in our energetic field, and when we have not enough playing out in our intention, it is a bottomless pit. There will never be enough information for you to be able to feel like you know enough when you are consuming from that intention. So then we throw AI in here. Now, if we are consuming from that intention, we have access to more information more quickly than ever before. What do you think this does to our psyches when we are already unconsciously, most of us, if we say, why am I reading this book? Or why am I reading this post? Or why am I at this masterclass right now? Sometimes that intention can be, I was called, I was intuitively guided here. I am inspired, I am looking for inspiration. And once the inspiration strikes, I don't even need to finish the book. Sometimes it's, I'm looking for one very key piece of information that allows me to take the next step through holding our energy and just focusing in the now present moment to the next step, but we're missing that one piece. So there's a lot of different intentions that we can be consuming information from. But if it's from not enough and it can get us stuck in the library as opposed to getting in the lab of action, because action's the only thing that can actually give us the answers that we're looking for, the feedback that we're looking for, which is a whole nother topic, our relationship with failure, that so often we use consuming content to protect ourselves from. I'll be ready when I know this, I'll be ready when that. It's just all the subconscious fears that usually keep us in that cycle. But if we now have access to infinite information at our fingertips, we don't even have to go to Amazon necessarily and look through the 1,800 books on perfectionism or self-doubt. And we just get to put our question in and receive the information and then ask another question, another question. If it is coming from that intention of not enoughness, not knowing enough, or that we are missing something, or from a belief that we are in lack, or that we are not already whole and complete, again, what will that do for our psyches, like our shadow psyches that are ultimately bottomless pits? It will never be enough. And that is where the speed at which AI is able to process and to work is the speed at which it drives whatever intention we're using it from further faster. So again, it can drive lack further faster. It can drive not enoughness further faster. We talk about social media and the impact that's had on our comparisonitis and how we compare ourselves to this person and that person, and all the research that's come out around social media, especially around our youth, and how it's impacting and facilitating deeper mental health challenges like depression or eating disorders or anxiety or just feeling behind, that whole inner critic space once again. I believe that AI is going to compound that exponentially. It's just another area. What's really awesome about this is that it is a part of the consciousness evolution that is imminent. And it is going to drive people to search for new solutions eventually. And a little biased here, as I know most of you are on this call, this is what I believe the role of coaching was meant to always be. And the world wasn't really fully ready for it. True coaching as defined by masterful coaching, as defined by being a mirror, holding space for people to tap into their own wisdom, creativity, intuition, their own power, their own potential. The true meaning of coaching, not the consulting side that is infused into so much coaching, which also has its role, but this is our time. This is our time. And that means that not only is this our time as coaches, that means we're also called to up our game in a lot of ways. And we don't get to half-ass it in the same way that maybe we have been able to before. And one thing ChatGPT helps us do, half-ass shit. So how do, again, we use it as a partner, like you guys said, or as a support, that it does not diminish your genius, your light, your potency, and your power. Because if we are using it to pump a lot of shit out, a lot of content out, if we're using it to be consistent, to try and keep up with the speed at which social media and content creation is happening, you've already half-assed it. You've already used it as a tool for an intention that is coming from a belief that more is better. A belief that unless we do this much, we will not be able to keep up. And that is true in the very limited human realm. However, that is not how it works in the unseen realm. The unseen realm, it just creates a shit ton of static. In the unseen, in the divine orchestration, in the maneuvering that's happening energetically, because energetics self-organize, in that realm, it is very efficient. And that means one piece of content can create the doorway or the portal for the perfect and right ideal clients to come through it. Not 1,800 pieces. All that 1,800 pieces is creating all the static up here that it's not like divinely guided content. It's just content for content's sake. And like we said, information is cheap, but now information is not just cheap, it's literally useless. It's pretty much becoming obsolete. Which again, then what fills in that space when information no longer serves the purpose? And I'm over exaggerating like that information is useless, but like in a bigger picture way, what fills in that space then? What fills in that space is our own spaciousness, is our own connection to wisdom that creates anew, that isn't just repeating the past. Because as we know, everything that AI can pop out and give us has to be based on the past. And there's nothing wrong with that, but how do we evolve if we aren't innovating beyond what already is? And I believe that is our responsibility as creators, as people who care deeply about other humans and wanting to forward our potential. And how we do that is, again, focusing on our own consciousness and how we're creating and nourishing our own channel, how we're unfolding and committed to some of the highest levels of consciousness, like level 6, where creation, intuition, and wisdom live. And the only way to do that is to not half-ass or take the easy way out, the level 3, easy, productive, efficient way in our businesses. It's a commitment to being pristine with our own energy, our own intention, and a commitment to only bring that forward, because anything else is static, not just for the unseen realm, not just for the noisy world out there, but for you in your life. Static. So this is the time where, when we're exploring how to grow, how to reach more people, how to have a bigger impact, how to create more financial abundance, it's where we get to step out of the current paradigm and out of the current box and create something that's never been created before. And so there's two ways, I guess, we can stand out. We can try to be on social media 18 times a day to keep up with the speed of everything. So hopefully our people see us, because the algorithms will start to like us because we're just freaking there all the time. Or we can create something that has never been created before, and it wipes out all the other shit that just sounds like redundant stuff, with a new bow on it, a new face, a new coach's face saying the same thing as everybody else. Like, which one's more efficient? Showing up on social media and creating content 100 freaking times a week? Or creating something that is so revolutionary, so piercing to someone's consciousness, so wow factor, so mind-boggling, that it's an experience, a visceral energetic experience in and of itself. That's what you have. That's what you have the capacity to do. That's what you have available to you. Okay, so this isn't an either or, right? And as many of you said, how do we use it as a partner? How do we use it as amplification of our genius? How do we use it as a way to create spaciousness for us to have the capacity, the time, and the space to nourish our genius and our wisdom? And because really, in order to tap into this level of creativity and intuition and wisdom, it requires spaciousness, it requires emptiness, it requires that. And so how can we use it as a partner to create more spaciousness for us? Again, a totally different intention than productivity. How do we use it to be more productive? It's one way. That's okay. That's great, especially if we're really overwhelmed and stressed and anxious. That gets us to a level 3 from a level 2 or level 1 place from a consciousness scale. But then if we take it a little bit further, it's how do we use it to serve ourselves as a tool for self-care? Or how do we use it to facilitate innovation, that you're bringing your creativity forward and it's just organizing it in some way? Or how do we use it to create the spaciousness for intuition and creativity, which would be that level 6. So we just moved through that whole thing. And let me ask you this. So those of you, like, I see this, gosh, LinkedIn about makes me want to throw up in my mouth, because almost every post I see, I'm like, people act like it's like the most incredible content they've ever read. And I'm thinking, wasn't this in Dale Carnegie's book like 1800 years ago? Are we just like seriously regurgitating the same stuff as if it's like this totally brand new thing? And it sounds like it's coming from a place of judgment, but what I'm really feeling into is it feels half-ass. It feels very vanilla. It feels, let me just put something out safe that everybody already agrees with, as opposed to maybe the real bold truth that I want to be expressing, because this safety can get me lots of likes because everybody already agrees with it. And then we're just cycling in this same cesspool of where we are, right? And can you feel when somebody's, holy crap, they poured their heart and soul into this, and this is like a true, authentic, unique expression? Think about how much energy and time people put into their half-assed posts. And this is the other message that really dropped in coming into today. I heard it loud and clear. I heard because we are shifting so fast. So we talked about this a little bit the last masterclass. We talked about our energetic centers. We've got 9 through human design, 7 through the chakra system. I see it as 4 through the key fear archetypes, where fears get blocked and where our power lives. And so all that to say, I heard this message, the centers are opening. And so what that means is that our bullshit meters are getting stronger. And the reason why they're getting stronger is because of AI, I believe. So you see this redundant quantity over quality output stuff is actually refining our perception, our ability to perceive, our ability to really take in, especially through our open centers, and experience all of the things that aren't being said and getting the energy underneath the energy, and to be able to make a very conscious choice from that place of alignment, and then freeing us up to I don't want to say block, but to ignore, to not invest energy in what isn't aligned. So you can see that I believe that the overuse of Gen AI and content creation in particular is actually opening our centers, our ability to perceive even more deeply. And so you can see that's why it's such a, I believe, beautifully, divinely timed thing that is supporting the ushering in of continual growth and expansion and evolution beyond just the innovation of it and the speed at which it moves, into also like our systems literally have to adapt in some way in order to keep up with it. And I hope and believe that one of the ways that we are adapting to it is this stronger intuitive sense about what we are allowing to come into those centers. Because when we don't have that, we read something and we take it as if, actually, I was just talking to a client about this yesterday. She was talking about, she all of a sudden uncovered, she's obsessed with her vanity metrics, right? The likes, the comments, all this stuff. And what came out of that conversation was, I'd shared with her that most of the people that have invested in working with me, it's very rare for them to actually like or comment much on my stuff. It doesn't translate to anything. A does not equal B. And so she had this desire for vanity metrics as opposed to just her true desire. This is actually a multi-pronged sort of situation. But as opposed to just her true desire, because she believed things A, B, C had to happen before D could happen. So she had this whole cause and effect thing. So she was wanting something because she believed if she didn't get the vanity metrics that she would never get D. And so we were working through this process of, you get to just want D and not worry about the ABC that comes to create D. And so you're using all this energy to have a desire because you believe that it's this sequential path, but it's not this sequential path. The universe works in mysterious ways. And so that was one piece. Then the other piece was, that was the sidetrack, and I was bringing it up for a totally different reason. The other piece was, she uncovered, so again, our centers are open, and now we have more discernment because I believe AI is contributing to this discernment. And so she remembered one of the very first courses she took. She's a blogger, course creator, YouTuber, radio show. She's got all the stuff and wanted the vanity metrics on every single thing she was doing. More stuff than I've done in the life of my business. She's done in 1 year. But I get so sidetracked. The centers are open. And she said, oh, I remember now. I took my very first course. My intention for my business was pure. It was clean. It was an expression. It was an honoring of my mother. It was this, that, like her original business intention was very clean. And then she went into a course and she said, I don't have my 1,000 followers yet. And the instructor basically shamed her and said, have you followed the steps? And it was in that moment that I felt like she decided through that center to take in that belief that she was missing something, and that the metrics would keep showing her if she was missing something or not missing something. So long as the metrics weren't there, she was always missing something. So back to our centers being so open at this time, opening up in this way and having this discernment. Now, because we have the discernment, we can discern truth from falsehood more clearly. So at that state, she couldn't discern the truth from the falsehood. And now for the last 8 years, that's been just playing out, creating this obsession and this stress about metrics, because it's only when the metrics matched would she be able to feel like she knew enough or she was doing it right. And it was just this crazy story that she brought in through that open center because she didn't have the discernment. The whole point of all of this is that I believe that our centers, or the message that I received this morning, is the centers are opening. The discernment is getting clearer. Not just for those of us that have been on this consciousness journey, but like overall, everybody's centers are coming into greater discernment. And I believe it's a great gift of AI that is causing us to adapt to be able to discern authentic truth versus falsehood and repetitive, kind of redundant pieces. So then what does that mean for your business? If everybody's centers are opening and the discernment is getting stronger, we are held to a new level of authenticity, which authenticity is about as vulnerable as we can be and become. Yet it also happens to be the most magnetic component of any aspect of our business. And if we are allowing ChatGPT to create on our behalf, or Gen AI to create on our behalf, Claude, whatever one we're using, and it's not re-infused with our own energy and authenticity, our businesses, because of the discernment, are not going to be able to grow and expand the way that they could with a simple infusion of energy, authenticity, and truth that is only yours and your expression coming forward. And ChatGPT can start to emulate that. Obviously, it's trained, it can use your voice. But again, the depth at which you bring the creativity to ChatGPT and how committed, how discerning you are yourself, how much you do not abdicate responsibility or power to it, and make sure, hold it to a standard that is whatever output it is giving you, it must be and feel 100% like you. And wherever it doesn't, you are brushing back over it. So in my business, and I've played it both ways, and how we're playing with ChatGPT, generative AI, we prefer ChatGPT over the other ones I've tested, but I bring, and I've got a client who just started doing this, and it's, like the stuff that's able to come through the partnership has been just pure fire. Like I can still feel her energy is just all in. And I do journaling or raw writing, whatever it may be. I just create space for anything and everything to come through. No intention for it to be a post, no intention for it to be anything. It's just, what is the truest truth that wants to come through? And it's this just pure energetic surge of whatever it is. And then I put that in to ChatGPT because it's very messy and it's all over the place and it's run on sentence after run on sentence and it's grammatically just a hot mess, which I can go through all of it and resolve it myself, but that's what then I put into ChatGPT, and then I get the output back, and now I go back into it and I read it word for word, and I take the time to feel it. And I love this. A lot of my courses I name with just 1 or 2 words, because I'll take that word and I'll hold it and I'll create an essence around just the word. And I do this very quickly now because I put it into practice, but this is one of the ways that you can use ChatGPT or generative AI as a partner. But again, it's gotta be, the final stamp's gotta be you. It's not just like, oh, that's good enough. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds pretty good. And then just throwing it out there. It's gotta come back to you. And then you literally pour energy into every single word. You intend on every single sentence. You read the sentence and you say, is this what I really mean? Is this really the truth that wants to be shared? And you feel it in your depth. And if it's off, you rewrite the sentence. And then now you're putting it out there. And so does it feel like it takes more time? Yes. Does it save you a ton of time on the back end because of its potency, its magnetism, its shortcuts, its timeline collapsing? Yes. So this is like a level 5 in the consciousness scale perspective of willing to do the extra work around excellence and pristine energy for the long-term benefit of it. Whereas a level 3 stage of consciousness is going to be like, get it done, get it out, it's good enough, blah, blah, blah. Done's better than perfect. And you're going to pop it out. And it's going to probably fall pretty flat because the centers are opening. Let me check in here. When people are at all different stages of their experience and expertise, perhaps some of the seemingly more elementary or repeated concepts or content is brand new to some people. What do you think about that? Great question. Thank you for asking that question. It depends on your audience energetics. So the people that are popping that out, there's nothing wrong with that they're creating level 3 content, but they're going to call in then level 3 clients, which is again, nothing wrong with that. Everything's an energetic match. And there are plenty of people out in the world that are level 1 and 2 that also need that level of content coming forward in their lives. And so for us, it's for us to be like, to not go down the elevator of consciousness. And again, I don't know you're all here, so I'm assuming you're operating, if you're even called into this space, we're probably operating at like levels, like energy attracts like energy. So we're operating pretty close to similar levels of consciousness. And so if I were to go down into level 3 content, you wouldn't be here. I would be attracting a client that is an old version of myself. And I don't want to work with clients like that. So that's why I have a commitment to simply be in the energy that I am, not better, not worse, none of that matters, but I have a commitment to stretching my energy, my channeling, my wisdom as far to the edge as I can stretch it. Because that's going to call forth the energetic match for who I am today. If I go down the elevator to meet where the masses are, which if I wanted to build a business where millions of people were following me, I must do marketing at a fear-based level. I must do marketing and sales from a place of fear. I got to twist the freaking knife, and I will attract millions of people if I do that. But what is the cost to my energetic system? And of course, then for me to want to do that, I'd be coming from the exact same energy level that they're already at, because it'd be coming from a high egoic place around vanity metrics, which is the other thing that I was sharing with this client yesterday. I said, there's not an energetic match. You're asking for vanity metrics, yet your topics and what you are teaching and speaking on and the authenticity that you're bringing forth in everything you write and everything you show up is not at match for vanity metrics. It's just not. And so that energetic mismatch is going to call in clients that bore your pants off, irritate you, or leave you playing small. And so that content from somebody else at that conscious level, perfect. But again, where do you resonate? And so I'm not judging the people that are putting out all the vanilla content. Maybe I am a little bit, just because it doesn't resonate with me. So this is really cool. So judgment is just, it's not even, if we come into just acceptance of our judgments, how do we know the difference between judgment and discernment? So I'm not saying, oh my gosh, that person's a freaking idiot for putting that out there. I'm just saying, ew, this is so boring, because it does not resonate with my field. But again, obviously it's resonating with their 800 likes that they got on it, because they're speaking to a level of consciousness that is more mainstream than the level of consciousness that I'm speaking to, which is why I could give a shit less about vanity metrics, as all of you should, because the higher you choose to step into your current operating level of energy and consciousness, and if it is higher, the less people it's going to resonate with. But the people that it does resonate with, man, they make fast decisions. They get incredible results out of the work with you. They love to make referrals. They send people your way that are also that energetic match. So while maybe it's not quantity, the quality saves you so much time, because people move fast at higher levels of consciousness. This is audience energetics. And so while there are less people, the people that are there, one, hardly anybody serving that market, because most people are marketing from a fear level 1, 2, or 3 place. Very few people are truly, I think it's a rarity to see somebody marketing from high levels of consciousness. And there is a whole market of people that are not being served because there's not enough people marketing at a high level of consciousness. And that's a huge opportunity. So long as you are willing to not go down the elevator in your own consciousness and ride the wave of your resonancy and trust that the energy self-organizes. Okay, that was a good one. Thanks. See, those questions just bring so much to me. So thank you. And hopefully to you. It makes me think about the question on the ELI about not wanting to work with people who aren't at your level. Yeah. It's not even that we don't, so when all of a sudden, oh my gosh, marketing and visibility and sales, when it becomes really easy, and I'm going to say easy, I'm actually going to say easy, because what's not easy is the personal growth and the shifts and the staring at our shadows and drumming up the unconscious stuff that puts us into the void and makes us feel like we're dying in a way. Like, all that stuff's not easy. However, once we reach every new level of consciousness, what creates a new ease is that it's not that we don't want to work with people that aren't at the same level with us. It's that we trust that energy self-organizes, so we don't even have to think if people that aren't our level are, so long as we show up 100% authentic, and authentic just means in the energy level we are currently experiencing. That means that I still experience plenty of level 1 energy and plenty of level 2 energy, for sure. And so I show up authentically in my level 2 energy. You hear it on these masterclasses, because that is authentic to me in this moment. I might be having a level 2 experience. That is authenticity. And I'm okay calling in 2 5 people. level 2 consciousness, level 5 consciousness. I've known that again, it's not that we're trying to just always be operating from levels 5 and 6 and calling in all 5, 6 people, because if everybody was operating from levels 5 and 6, they honestly would be seeing the world through a lens that they wouldn't even be probably seeking out your support and transformation. So it's remembering that we all experience all these energies. It's just how quickly we move in and out of them. So if I have strong catabolic energy, I'm going to experience level 2 for days, for weeks. Like higher levels of consciousness just means that it moves from a stress reaction to a normal state of being more quickly. So in a lower level of consciousness, I'm going to maintain a stress reaction much longer. And then it's going to become a self-fulfilling travesty. It's going to become a self-perpetuating cycle that then keeps me in it longer and longer. And so I absolutely am attracting people that experience level 1 energy and level 2 energy and level 3 energy. They experience all the levels, but that's not the question. And it's not that I don't want that energy in my field. It's the acceptance of that energy. And it's probably the most, I think, some of the most powerful work we can do as coaches, because in these higher level normal states, we have the capacity to hold that energy from a place of non-judgment because we've done our own acceptance around that energy. And so I agree, it's like that question, but that question still, it's the reason why it's a level 2 question is because it's creating hierarchy, as opposed to, it's not that we don't want to work with people at that level, it's that at higher levels, we just fully trust that the perfect and right energetic matches show up. So we actually don't have to use our judgment or our comparison at all, because we just have a knowing that so long as we are showing up authentically in whichever energetic experience we are having in the moment, it will call forth and automatically attract perfect match clients. But if I manipulate my energy, if I try to be more positive than I really am, I'm also going to attract a lot of people that are using level 3 and spiritual bypassing. That's okay. That's a perfect energetic match if that's how I'm showing up. However, I continually attempt to do the work to discern true level 6 from level 3 spiritual bypassing. And again, not one's better than the other. However, I get to have the mirror back to myself based on my clients, my sales conversations, your guys' comments on here. It's all just a mirror. It's nothing that anybody outside of me is doing. It's just showing me what energetic experience I might be having that's creating this mirror back to me based on who is around me. I could create an AI clone. You all could create AI clones of yourself. I probably have 100,000 hours of transcripts from coaching sessions to trainings, just the trainings alone. Like, again, there's a whole ethical side of it as well. I haven't thought about this, and I haven't thought about cloning myself, but I know a number of coaches and consultants are doing this. Look, it's like even just the thought of it just has my throat all clogged up. Interesting. It's like, ugh, but that could change. I could change my mind tomorrow. I don't know. So all that to say, like that thousands of hours, and a lot of times, honestly, like it does feel redundant. I'm one of those people, I'm just sharing this because I think about this all the time, and all of you have likely experienced, I would guess, probably have experienced this as well. One of the reasons I automated the ELI debrief way back earlier in my business, I'd done a couple hundred ELI debriefs, like one-on-one ELI debriefs. And I got really bored. I was like, I feel like a broken record. We say that energy is totally unique and the energetic blueprint, thumbprint, whatever. I'm like, but honestly, like every single one of these debriefs feels the same. And so while yes, on one hand, how it shows up for people is different, on the other hand, we really are all pretty much having the same experience, just with a little tiny nuance. And so that was when I decided to automate the debrief process by turning it into a course so people could do their own with coaching questions, so they could do their own self-reflection as opposed to being on a call for hundreds of hours. And so where I'm going with this is I'm one of those people that when I think about all of my content and all of the things, and even today I was like, oh, I could teach this system. But once I teach it, or even once I feel like it's integrated on some level, I'm over it. And I always think about singers who have to sing their same cover songs over and over again. I'm like, gosh, don't you think it's tiring? I don't know. I feel like maybe it's my ADHD or something, but I always want to be creating something new or doing something new. And if I have to repeat the same stuff over and over again, I feel, I don't know, I don't feel good. And so that's one area where I was like, ooh, I could take everything that like I've taught over and over and over again. It's the same stuff that comes up with clients over and over again. I feel like a broken record. And so that could be something that could be cloned that could still get that information across. So that's just information. That's just information when people ask the same questions all the time. How do I get clients? How do I do this? How do I do a sales conference? How do I increase my conversions? How do, like all those questions. It's the same. And obviously they could just go to ChatGPT and get lots of answers. And mine would just have a little energetic twist to it. That's the only thing that makes mine unique from any other information. And they could even probably put in ChatGPT, how can I do this with a higher level of energy or whatever? And they'd get an answer. But what can't be cloned? So that's just information. If a client is choosing to invest high investment with you, what can't be cloned? No matter what, that AI will never, ever be able to replace you. How do we make those things the top priority and infuse everything we're doing in our businesses with that? It's a big question. How do we make that the leading star? That is all the things that each of you said personally: heart, personality, intuition. It's individual for everybody. What new intention do you want to set for your business with this awareness? And then as you guys are thinking about your intentions, how do you embody that and put it into action? What's one action you can take that represents the embodiment of that intention? This quote's coming to my mind. I'm going to probably butcher it, but it's something along the lines of, lighthouses don't go out into the ocean or the lake to chase down boats. They just shine their light and the boats come. The same is true in your business. And how bright can that light radiate through authenticity, through vulnerability, through truth coming through you? Even if it's wrong, it's the truth in that moment for you. And you get to say something different the next time if you want to. That must have wanted to come through for somebody. Because sometimes that can drive us into trying to get more information. Because what if I'm wrong? And what if this isn't true? And what if I'm full of shit? And what if people find out that I'm a phony and imposter stuff? In this moment, if it is true, it is authentic for you. And guess what? Nobody's thinking about you after you say it. They're not thinking, oh, so said that. They're not. Nobody's thinking that much about you. They're too busy thinking about them. It's the gift of our ego. We think everybody remembers when we mess up or when we do this, and it's so embarrassing, or when we say that and we did it wrong. And then even if we do, what do we get to do? We get to come back and say, you know what? I've had a shift in perspective around that. I no longer think or believe that way anymore. And right now, what feels really true for me is this. And people are fully at choice of if they feel true for them or not true for them. And you know what's really cool too is, how do we come into acceptance when it's not flowing? This just happened this morning for one of my clients. She moves with the moon cycles, and so I guess we're coming into a full moon. And she's, gosh, I just feel like doing nothing. And it's taken some time for us to get to a place where then do nothing. That is your system telling you exactly what you need. That means that there's something else being orchestrated in the unseen, and you are literally being guided to stay out of the kitchen while the chef is cooking something. So then do nothing and be, and just be. And so we re-ingrained that this morning, and within 2 seconds where she said, and so it is. I fully surrender and release any work that I think I need to do in order to get clients today. And she had a sales conversation book in within 1 second. It was like, you don't get the power of surrender. That we just drove that one home because she just experienced the power of surrender and how quickly things come through. So back to, sometimes things aren't flowing. And if you have to try really hard, set an intention or just surrender, set an intention and surrender, and it will come back. It will always come back. And there's these dry spells, and it's back to defying, like when you're working with energy, so many of the rules that are out there about you have to be consistent or you have to stay on people's radar. I'm telling you, sometimes the algorithms favor people that come back because they're like, oh my gosh, she's back. Let's try and entice her to keep coming back. And so it's just not true. It's just not true at all. And then especially when you throw something out that really sparks people, I'm telling you, every algorithm is feeling how much time people are spending on your post. And if they're just scrolling past it in 1 second, whether they like or comment or not, it's measuring everything. And so if they are just spending time reading it and they're on your post for 20 seconds, that is 20 times longer than all of the other posts that didn't resonate for them, that they were thumb scrolling by. And so that 20 seconds already broke the algorithm, whether they commented, liked, or did anything else. That's the other thing, is we're operating from a lot of old rules. The algorithm has also AI evolved. It's no longer just, we can only measure likes and comments. No, now it's measuring everything, every click. If they say read more, they measure that. Everything is determining. So when you write something that is piercing and magnetic and pulls people in, they're spending more time on that post, whether they were there or not. And it's forwarding your message and it's forwarding your mission. Whereas you could write 18 half-assed posts and it doesn't forward anything. So if it's not flowing, just don't even try. Just let it go. It'll come back. It'll come back. Okay, let me just check in. Oh, I do have a couple Q&As. Okay. Do you have any, oh my gosh, do I have any limiting beliefs? Every freaking day. Let's just talk about an hour before coming into this call. I messaged Ashley. Nothing's coming through. No clue what I'm going to be talking about today. I have thoughts. Just cancel it. Just stop. You've hit a creative block. You know, nothing's coming through. And then I felt resentment. Why is it my fucking job to show up? Oh my gosh, like just the energy is just like constant. And then I surrendered it and I received 2 sentences. And then I said to God, Universe, Source, use me, I am your channel. Give me the message. I am removing myself for this hour and I invite you to speak through me. I am an empty vessel for your use. Use me as your tool. Which every time that I do that, it all works out, as opposed to before I was trying to manufacture, because the last one I did was very structured because I had a very clear message. And then the one before that was very structured. And this one kind of went back to the old mystery masterclass where it was like, I just got to channel something and see what comes through. So yeah, that's the limiting beliefs are multiple every day. But again, also what I recognize is how quick they come and they go. And I'm so grateful for this consciousness journey because it's like, it doesn't stick like it used to. And I was able to still show up fully authentic and vulnerable here today. So thank you for that question. Okay. We are not having a masterclass at the end of this month. I'll be at retreat with clients. We'll be back the second week in April. Oh my gosh, second week in April. Keep an eye out for that. You'll probably get a cancellation notification for just the second one this month. And then we'll be back in April. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your week and month.